Actually, we tried to film this same video on our anniversary camping trip, but I got too drunk. So most of the time I'm like, try not to afraid of, explaining yourself. I was like, I just couldn't watch that video.
Clap.
3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, this is Soomin.
And this is Jane. Please don't edit that out. Please leave it in.
Sorry about that. Oh, that was a really
Do it again. We are in a massive wooden building.
Yay. It's almost like I forgot. We are a little bit drunk. Yeah, we are a little bit tipsy, but not too drunk to film the video. So that's why
maybe don't explain that to them.
Okay.
Maybe just try and see if we can get away with it. Okay.
This video is not gonna be like we have this and this because we're in an interracial relationship. I always try to tell them, why do you think having my own culture is weird? You have to be proud of your own culture. You don't have to be ashamed by on your culture. So for example, I eat kimchi. I eat some food that can be stinky to other people.
Very stinky to other people.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that's wrong. I don't feel like, eating kimchi in front of my boyfriend is wrong. Because I was born and raised in a community where kimchi is just like a normal thing. It's just like a side dish when you have meals. It's just like you have baked bean. It's the same thing. I really try to tell everybody that you shouldn't be thinking it's weird having our own culture, having our own habits, because that's how we are. That's what we are.
I think like the main thing is there will be some differences where like you like different foods to me and like say slightly different films and whatever, but at the end of the day the person you're in a relationship shouldn't try and change you. They should just sort of accept you for how you are. So that includes culture, that includes anything to do with where you're from, and
obviously we see a lot of cultural differences when it comes to having a wedding or when we talk about our childhoods. But right now when we talk about our lives together, I don't think there's any cultural differences.
I think because we sort of embrace our differences rather than sort of worried about them. We just sort of openly talked about them and sort of keep the communication like fairly well. That hasn't become a thing. Just
because we have different skin color, it doesn't mean that we have to always bring up that we are different, we have different culture and stuff, because in general we are human beings and we all have pretty much the same comments and the same culture.
I think the important thing is to have someone that has the same sort of views as you, sees the world the same sort of way.
There are some Korean people who are a little afraid of saying this and that to their boyfriend and girlfriends. Don't be afraid of saying that you're uncomfortable. You shouldn't be hide these feelings just because you think like, oh, I'm gonna make this person so uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like
the best way is just to be honest with them and just to sort of say what you're feeling, because otherwise it will just sort of get sort of stuck within you and you won't be able to ever really be happy, because you'll always be worried that like, oh, but what if they're feeling this uncomfortable about me eating this type of food? Or there's always going to be a few differences, but there's going to be a few differences in every relationship.
My mother tongue is Korean and his mother tongue is English.
But to be fair, I think you speak better English than me at this point. We're about the same level, I think.
But I don't think the language that we're speaking affect that much to our relationship, because
half of the time we speak we just go and like we just know what we mean from that.
I know,
It's like, oh, do you want chips?
When I think about my previous relationships with Korean guys, I still have language barrier. Even though we spoke the same language, I still
have communication issues.
Yeah, you know, I have more communication issues with that people than I have right now. So it doesn't really matter what kind of language you're speaking.
Because worst case scenario, if we don't understand each other, we can just ask, oh, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like, because our communication is generally quite good, as in we tell each other what we're feeling.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't really matter if you are really good at English. I see like other couples who's working fine when they don't really speak good language altogether.
We don't use English the majority of the time. We use like sounds.
Yeah.
Like we've made our own language at this point.
Yeah, I know. And also another question. Does your English get, you know, improved a lot ever since you date a British guy?
I think I'm making you worse because I make up my own words. Like by adding like nurses and things like that to it.
Yeah, correct. I think,
Correct.
Yeah, I do actually think my English is getting worse and worse every day because we created our own language that is not English, not Korean. Like, even though I don't finish my sentences, he understands what I'm talking about, so I don't have to finish my sentence. So even though my sentence is grammatically not correct, he would understand and he wouldn't say anything. Hey, you just said, you know, something in a really wrong way. He wouldn't say that.
I think you'll find it's whom, not who.
We are not judgmental for each other's English, so I think my English is getting like worse and worse.
I think you're starting to speak like me.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And I speak in a very interesting way, I'll call it. I make up a lot of words. Because we don't speak formally to each other.
Yeah.
So you just sort of come up with your own slang for things. Like today, when we were sorting out the room, it said I was sweating like a pineapple. But no one's ever said that before in their life.
And I'm like, pineapple doesn't sweat. And he was like, they might.
How do you know?
So yeah, so like this, we just
do our own thing.
Yeah, we just do our own thing. I think there are a lot of misconceptions about, you know, having an interracial relationship. One, you can improve your English. Second,
I mean, probably normal couples you can, but we're just weird.
Yeah, we're just weird.
Like,
maybe there are couples who can, you know, speak better language after they got into their relationship,
like,
but not us. Just because you're in a interracial relationship, it doesn't mean that
your English will get better.
Language doesn't really matter.
It's more how willing you are to communicate.
Yeah.
You can speak the best like English in the world, but if you're not willing to sort of talk to that person about how you're feeling and things like that, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think we got closer because we have similar childhood background, you know, family background together. That definitely helped us to understand each other. Other than that, I don't know how we got along.
I think you just put up with me for 2 years. That's what's happened. Like at the beginning, you're like, am I really dating this guy? And then you got to like this point where you're like, well, can't back out now.
There are so many like weird stereotypes of Asian girls. Typical Asian stereotype, but I don't think I'm any of them.
I don't think you're anything like any stereotype. Like you're just doing your own thing.
These are so old. Like maybe it worked, like, you know,
10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, for all the older generation. But in this generation, in my generation, I don't think any of them would actually work. Some of the DMs that I got is how to get non-Korean boyfriend. And I do think that's really weird questions. No offense to the people who ask me. But I personally think that is a really weird question. I don't know how to answer that. If you connect with somebody, then you connect with somebody. It doesn't really matter what kind of nationality, what kind of language they are speaking. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I had a lot of, I want to say this, okay.
You had a lot of boyfriends? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah.
I'm just going to go in this corner and cry.
No, I mean, like, I'm not trying to say this to brag about it,
You
but
sure?
I'm sure. I'm not bragging about this. James.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Sorry, that was mean.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I kind of like doing it, to be honest.
If I think about all the relationships that I've been to before, I was too stupid enough to not express how I really feel. I was afraid of how this person would feel when I say this and that. But I shouldn't do that. I think we should be more selfish. You know what I mean? We should be more selfish to express our feelings honestly to your partners.
But there can be a thing as too brutally honest, which, you know, you do all the time.
It's
but
better
you
than
do it
mine.
in a more fun way now. It's like, so when was the last time you brushed your teeth?
I mean, we are pretty comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
That's why I can say that stuff. But
That takes time.
yeah, that takes time. So I'm not saying that you should say like, oh, your brush stink.
Walk up to random guys.
Yeah.
You stink. Because we had a few problems at the beginning where like we both were trying to do the thing to make the other person happy, but we weren't comfortable with telling them that. So we'd both end up doing something that neither of us wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like in London when we went to the cinema.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
How do we end the video?
I don't know.
I don't ever really see us as an interracial couple because it's more just like we're just Soomin and James. Like we're just a couple, so you never really notice anyone's nationality. Unless something does come up where it's like, I don't know, you want like this weird Korean dish I've never heard of in my life, or like you want to see an octopus move around as you try and eat it and have to fight with it or something, which I think is actually quite cool and I want to try, but it's not the point. Unless like something like that happens, you never really notice it until you end up going to Korea and going home and you're like, oh wait, yeah.
I think food is the only part where we actually feel like, oh, we're actually different. We are interracial couple because, you know,
basically I'm potato and you're rice.
or kimchi.
You always have rice and kimchi with food. I always have something that's made out of potato.
Oh, another question that I normally see from the comments.
Oh yeah, so it's a birthmark. It's not like a rash or anything. I've had it all my life. Yeah, it's just a birthmark.
Yeah,
Nothing interesting about it.
Yeah.
No nice story.
Yeah, they thought it was like acne or something like that, but it's just a birthmark. Yeah, but I really like this part because it's so squishy and it feels so good.
I have about 7 chins right now. Is what you're saying.
No, I just like touching it and like it. Another thing that I want to say was I'm not shaming other YouTubers by making this type of videos, but there are loads of videos that are saying 7 or 10 things that you should know when it comes to dating certain nationality guys or whatever that is. Well, it can be, you know, true because stereotypes, but I don't recommend study your boyfriend, your girlfriend based on other people's videos because everyone's different. You might end up with a person who are not that British enough or who are not French enough. So who knows? Try not to watch this kind of video, even my video, because
Maybe you shouldn't say your video, you should say other people.
No, like if you watch some video about like dating or, you know, relationships, you're gonna think your relationship within these rules, and I don't think that's very healthy.
I feel like you're going to start this video with, hi guys, thanks for watching, please unsubscribe and please dislike.
No, please, don't unsubscribe. Just you know. No, do not unsubscribe me, please. I think it's a good idea to, you know, watch those kind of videos just for fun, but do not take any of them seriously.
So everyone's different. Everyone's going to have different quirks to them and things like that, and it more depends on how you're raised rather than the country you're raised in. So,
but I do really appreciate all the YouTubers who are putting their relationship advices on YouTube because it's just good for like zero experienced people to have an idea But it can be helpful, yeah, if you actually think about it. But don't really take it seriously. Build your own relationship with your own personality, with your own experiences. I think that's how you start a healthy relationship. Oh, I definitely want you to not think that all the romance, all the relationship is working as you see from the films. Before I go to Canada to learn English, I was watching all the American films, like high school films, and I was like, oh my god, if I go to Canada, would I be in a cheerleading team, like meeting a leader of the rugby, players or whatever? But that never happened. Film is film. Yeah. That romantic stuff is just imaginary.
Just have realistic.
It's like unicorns.
Realistic expectations is like a big thing, because if you expect him to, or her, I keep saying him, if you accept him or her to sort of be this amazing, unbelievable unicorn of a person, then you're going to be disappointed effectively, because everyone's human, everyone's got their good points and bad points, and yeah.
I think this video is probably the last video that we are in both until we meet each other again. Yeah. Hopefully our plan doesn't get ruined this time.
So please stay safe, wear a mask and sanitize and all of that. So
yes.
We can meet up in France.
Yeah.
So to everyone who's watching this from France, make sure you stay safe just for us, yeah?
Yeah, and everyone in the UK, please just, act like normal people. Just wear masks. Yeah. Wear masks.
And most importantly, don't be a Karen.
Just don't be an asshole, guys.
Be considerate to other people.
Please stay safe, guys. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.